what is going on in Ethereum and what will be going on in Ethereum. And with Jaan, I think it will be today's first non-Ethereum, non-Web3 talk in particular about AI risk. So really, really, really happy to have you here. I think this topic is definitely super relevant in China's context. And yeah, welcome. Yeah. So I would like to maybe just start to ask you the first question, and as you started to pay attention and started to put a lot of your personal resource to support the different research institutions that aim to reduce existential risk. Can you tell us like what is the particular emphasis on those emerging from advanced artificial intelligence that made you really, really concerned? And what is your pivotal event or like one particular insightful moment give you a very, very profound mental impact that steered you toward focusing on these existential risks?
Yeah, I don't think there was a very single profound experience or anything. I think the year was something like 2008, when I was already sort of getting bored at Skype a little bit and was like looking around the internet, what else is happening. And I stumbled upon the writings of Eliezer Yudkowsky, who basically has been very vocal recently, but he has been writing about the problem with AI and the fact that the default outcome from AI might not be good, and why humans don't necessarily realize that, and basically being kind of this like overall educator for more than a decade now, and yeah, basically started seeing his essays about this topic and started reading them, and soon I realized that he can write faster than I can read. He has written like over 1,000 essays about this topic, and I wrote to him in March 2009 when I was in California on a Skype business, and proposed that we meet, and we did, and we talked for like 4 hours, and after that I was okay, yeah, this is like really important and unappreciated topic, and it kind of makes sense for me to like focus my post Skype career on that. So I did.
Wow, so that was in 2009. That was 14 years ago.
Yeah, more than 14 years.
Which like AI risk was still a very, very thin pie in the sky, and I think at the time nobody would know what you were talking about.
Yeah, so interestingly, like kind of people that are like, every once in a while there are like people who basically go like, wait a minute, like where are we heading? And of course, like there's been like a lot of science fiction, like a Terminator movie kind of comes up like every second time we're going to talk about this, at least used to. But also interestingly, the really pioneers of the field, of the computing field, like Alan Turing and Norbert Wiener and I.J. Good, they all have like at one point or another said that, look, as machines get smarter and smarter, making machines smarter is also not a thing that requires intelligence. So once you have machines that are better than humans in developing further machines, we should expect like intelligence explosion, and what happens next no longer be up to humans. But of course, like these were kind of theoretical arguments. I think the really kind of the watershed moment was last year when ChatGPT came out, and then like large fraction of the planet went like, what the hell is now happening?
Yeah, totally. I think one thing that caught everyone's attention was 3 months ago, Future of Life Institute basically published this open letter titled Pause Giant AI Experiments. This is basically like the most impactful warning around the world, and also garnered significant global attention, not just attention from like a day-to-day people we can see on the street. My parents, my grandparents know about this, but also, Elon Musk signed the letter, I signed the letter, perhaps, and I also, retweet many times and send the letter to my friends to let them send them. So the letter says, note that AI labs are currently locked in an out of control race to develop and deploy machine learning system that no one, not even their creators, can understand, predict, or reliably control. So it's been more than 3 months after the letter got attention, after the letter published, and after everyone started to discuss, like maybe like more than just a small group of people start discuss about the X risk. Do you think this letter succeeded in a sense that serving as a fire drill to humanity? Do you think this letter prompt some necessary pause and reflection on our use and development of AI? Do you think this letter achieved your goal, like when you initiated this letter?
Yeah, I think it's kind of early to say. It kind of clearly did not kind of make everyone kind of pause, but that like sort of part of the meta goal with this letter was to kind of like demonstrate that these people can't even pause for 6 months, that the race is like so bad now, and so like there is like government intervention is needed, and like that it like really, I think it kind of succeeded like well beyond what we expected. Like the discussions that are clearly downstream of the letter. I mean, it's kind of like a little bit difficult to assign the exact causality, because like you can make the argument that like the actual thing that woke up the planet was ChatGPT, and like everything else, like whether there was like one letter or another, like that doesn't matter. Like if FLI wouldn't have done the letter, somebody else would have done, etc. So, but like I think like one reasonable model was that yes, ChatGPT was the big initiator of what's happening. Then like FLI letter kind of mainstreamed it and brought it to the attention of Western governments at least. I don't know exactly what influence it had in China. And then like really importantly, one thing that's clearly downstream of FLI letter was this CAI's Center for AI Safety Declaration. That was just like one sentence and kind of compressed the essence of the FLI letter into a very agreeable sentence that like all the heads of the major AI labs in the West has signed it. So I think that's like a very major achievement, which I think FLI can take like this part of the credit for.
What's the most interesting comment you received after publishing this letter?
I mean, that's like difficult to say, because like there's been like a whirlwind of media interest, comment, discussion, and whatnot.
I can totally see people getting like very triggered by the nature of this letter. Be like, what do you mean by pausing the research? We're gonna lose the race.
Yeah. So like, I mean, again, like one kind of misconception about the letter is that people kind of assume that this is about pausing AI research in general. It is not explicitly. Is not. It really talks about training of the frontier models that currently happens in pretty much like 3 labs, all of them in the US, as far as I know. So it's really about this current paradigm, which unfortunately is like completely black box, where we like the entire AI field has gone from this like simple, transparent, legible systems to this like big, unscrutable black box systems. It went from kind of expert systems where the kind of smartness was encoded by hand to supervised learning, where humans were labeling the examples and like AI's job was to kind of figure out what humans mean, to unsupervised learning, where we literally put like tens of thousands of graphics cards in a huge data center and leave them unattended for months.
Right. So last week in San Francisco Bay Area, actually 2 hours north to San Francisco, I was in Camp Navarra. That's a beautiful redwood forest where I attended the DWAP camp organized by the Internet Archive. I got to meet Tim Berners-Lee, the inventor of web WWW, the internet standard, and I also got to meet Asa Raskin, who is the founder of Center for Humane Technology. So Asa delivered his really famous and compelling talk on AI dilemma. This is a concept that basically been running in my mind for like a couple months since I first saw his AI dilemma talk on YouTube a few months ago, and now got to see him deliver this talk in real life. And he basically warned us and told us that the social media platform, your everyday interaction on Twitter, your everyday interaction on TikTok, on different platforms, on Weibo, on Red Little Book, the Chinese version of Pinterest, is basically signifies humanity's first contact with AI, right? And it basically have a lot of negative consequences that we all know, including negative repercussion, including information overload, addiction, propaganda, fake news, and even potential destabilization of democracy. And this intrigues me to think about the notion of second contact, on top of the first contact, which is our contact with large language models, with the generative AI, with all kind of generative content that could cause this reality collapse. In the sense, how do you feel about the whole like notion of human being are probably doomed to surrender to the second contact? In a sense,
Yeah.
the reality collapse will inevitably come to fool us. Like in the future, we won't be able to tell the difference between real and between fake and real, between what's like human generated content, what's AI generated content. Like, how do you feel about this?
Yeah, I think I mean, Asa and Tristan at Center for Humane Technology have been great allies when it comes to kind of explaining the problem, and I think they're like really good at this education. That I think that said, I do think I have like a very rather like different view on the problem. I think we're talking about kind of unprecedented situation that might now happen. We don't even know like when it's going to happen. Like possibly later this century, possibly later this year. We don't know like how powerful the next generation of AI that is being trained will be. And like whenever you're talking about unprecedented situation, like and to try to explain, you have to use some kind of metaphors. You have to use some kind of so-called reference class. Like what is the event that it is the new unprecedented thing is similar. So in like Asa's framing, because like they have done a lot of work in social networking, for them it's kind of like natural to use this like social networking, like AI applying to the social networks as a precedent that you basically then like use to illustrate what might happen next. In my view, it kind of like undersells. It kind of gives like too weak precedent. I think it's like more apt and more powerful precedent would be the creation of Homo sapiens, our species. And I think important to note that sapiens is like wise or smart, and the other Homo species did not survive the introduction of Homo sapiens. So I think it's rather than depicting the danger as a sort of social media experience of AI on steroids, I'd rather kind of take a step back and see like what happened to other species when Homo sapiens was introduced, and like how can we ensure that the same thing wouldn't happen to us.
Right, totally. I think that's one really classic quote by Yuval Harari is what AI threat imposes to our reality is pretty much like a nuclear bomb poses to the physical world. That AI basically poses a threat to, as you just said, our entire species, the Homo sapien, like basically upgraded or distorted our understanding about what is intelligence. And I think I want to move forward to the question in particular about China, since currently we have a lot of audience in China, although we can't see them. So basically, my question is, I guess I do want to I do want to ask a question, which is sort of noting the elephant in the room, would be U.S. and China is still in a very bitter rivalry stance, and recently Mark Andreessen from A16Z also published an article saying AI is our best friend, but in one section of this of his article he says the single greatest risk of AI is that China wins global AI dominance and we, the United States and the West, do not. And this is clearly a very, very binary and a rivalry sort of stance. And moreover, I see basically all the talks that sometimes you gave and sometimes Asa gave to different scenarios would mention China. So I guess my question would go to you as a representative, as a broader, like intellectual, impactful group in the West. Like, what's your view of this rivalry, and how do you think China can contribute to the global research on AI alignment, and how can we foster a more harmonious collaboration and synergy between China's AI research community and the global ecosystem? As today our title for this talk is Confluence of Mind, Synergy on AI Research.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have like super well thought out thoughts in this space. I do think that people who basically only focus on this like global competition and put like AI into that context, I think they are making like a massive mistake in terms of like not respecting AI enough. They're gonna assume that AI is something, at worst, it's something like, I don't know, electricity or something like that. Something that is like easy to control for humans. Sure, like there might be some accidents, but like then we learn and then we iterate, and then like we kind of gain civilizationally more capabilities. But I think this is just like kind of addressing the risk by pretending that it doesn't exist. It's like kind of chimpanzees talking about, okay, we're gonna have these humans, like, but we have this other tribe in the other part of the forest. Like, I wonder like how this like human civilization would like, how can we accelerate the arrival of human civilization so we could better beat the other tribe in this like other part of the forest, which are completely misguided. Once humans ride, like chimpanzees will not get to say what happens next. So it's like really important to realize that the current paradigm of AI is not controllable. Like the only way it's controlled is that it is not smart enough to take counteractions when you try to turn it off. So so it's kind of, I think Max Tegmark at FLI has said that the only winner in the global race, global AI race, is the AI, not humans. Yeah, I think it's really important to realize that we should not assume that AI is going to be easy to control.
Are you currently talking to any like Chinese entrepreneurs or technologists or AI alignment people about this issue? Are you currently like in active discussion with relevant Chinese researchers?
Not really. So like I've been to China a few times before COVID, but like once COVID happened, I haven't been back to China. And of course, like all the recent developments happened like during COVID and after COVID. So I don't actually know exactly what the state of the play is in China currently.
Right. Are you open to this kind of discussion or conversations?
Oh yeah, sure. Like, I mean,
Maybe,
that's that's I mean, literally the place that I'm sitting right now is between Beijing and New York, like equidistant.
Yeah.
Washington is a little bit more farther away, but like almost the same.
Gotcha. So Beijing is closer to you than Washington. Here we
A
go.
little bit, yeah.
Last week when I met Asa, he said he's planning a trip to China, basically going to different cities and delivering his AI risk talks. And I think that's something in my perspective extremely important and
That's great. Yeah.
and relevant. Yeah. Because I really don't see a lot of ask risks discussion in China. All I see is like more like a competitional academic discussion in terms of, how can we catch up the large language models that's been like fastly evolving in the West, not necessarily some serious talk about how can we unite as humanity to discuss this like pending threat. Yeah.
Yeah, and like, and the other thing is like, my kind of hope from China would be that like the society cares more about control and like less like kind of making sure that things kind of unfold in a predictable manner. As I've been joking, is that like it's like very dangerous to pull a Bing in China, like basically releasing an AI that you don't control as a company. So that's and I think, yeah, I think that was like really responsible
Right.
move
Right.
by Microsoft.
Right. Yeah. I
Which
have
is
to
like
say
again
maybe.
in US you can get away with. It's kind of harder to get away with. The China is my model.
Yeah, totally. I think your reputation or your figure in China is more recognized as the co-founder of Skype. I don't know, you've probably been asked this question a lot, but you do have deep understanding of technology's capacity to communicate, to connect people. But in a sense of, this large language model taking over, like how do you see this change people's way of this instant and even video communication?
Oh, yeah. I mean, this is again kind of like one of those questions about sort of current generation of AI, or like more generally about AI that is not very smart, that like kind of remains peacefully unaware of the larger strategic situation. But sure, like I mean, there is value in thinking about kind of the applications of the current generation as well, and the risks, and like many people are doing that, which is good. So yeah, I do think that it's important to think about kind of increasing issue of trust when it comes to kind of audio, video content, and like kind of fake content, which I think like this is like where blockchains can actually bring in some expertise, or kind of like I was on some kind of seminar at one point, and people said, okay, now we're kind of entering the post-truth world.
Yeah.
And like nobody knows what's true. I'm like, well, there is like no dispute about how much Bitcoin someone has. And like more generally, there is this kind of global consensus, very hard to fake consensus, which is about facts which are encoded in blockchain. So can you basically use this new capability that the world has to build some guardrails, or like build some invariants and constraints on this what is like post-truth society, to make sure that we have like authenticated sources and verified content.
Yeah. I've been reading a lot about this concept of proof of humanhood using blockchain technology to verify that you are a human being. And Sam Altman also invested or like started this a blockchain project called WorldCoin, which will scan your biometric features, scan your iris using this like this one hardware called the orb to scan your iris, and then verify that your unique human iris pattern to verify that, to further verify that you are biologically a person, you're Homo sapien, and then basically code your information to their information system, and then in the future drop you some universal basic income. Sounds like a perfect dystopian infrastructure. But yeah, anyways, Sam Altman's brilliant galaxy mind. I think this could be another perfect chance for you. Maybe I'll give you 30 seconds to say something about AI risk to Chinese audience, whoever pay attention to.
Yeah, I think I kind of said the main points and like the main like let me just like stress the kind of like two main points that I already mentioned. One was that it's kind of really important to not underestimate the potential power of AI. That's I'm not going to treat it as, oh yeah, like humans have always been able to control things. So like this is something that's kind of like our ability to do so, like from here to infinity. And the other thing is kind of like correlated or anti-correlated thing rather, is that the current paradigm of AI is like really, really uncontrollable. I call it like summon and tame paradigm. The idealized code for like transformers-based AI is something like 200 lines of code. So it's a super simple recipe for a portal, effectively, that gets like distributed over like tens of thousands of graphics cards, and then you let those graphics cards hum for months, and then like fish out the mind from this mind space that you can study and see like what can it do, which like inherently is not a controllable way to produce technology. We're growing AIs, we're not building them.
Yeah. Yeah, I think here I do want to use this chance to advertise for AZA's AI Dilemma talk. I think it is, as you just said, it's a really, really good educational resource, and the Center of Human Technologies is incredibly put this like a complicated transformer model in a way that's interpretable to many of us, to understand that this transformer technology started in 2017 is treating all kinds of disciplines and models as language. So we're now seeing the compounding effect of this marginal incremental progress in the space. That's why we feel like the speed for the research is moving extremely fast, in the sense that transformer is basically fundamentally changing the AI research and we see. So yeah, highly recommend you all to check out the AI Dilemma talk. And I think we are probably heading towards the end of the conversation. I'm not sure, like, is there anything you want to discuss about?
Yeah, I do think that there's like, as there was discussion at Susalu, that the blockchain community is sort of like has been like adjacent to AI safety community, and has like some interesting touch points. Like I think in 2017 we organized a workshop in Oxford with kind of AI safety people and Ethereum people. Vitalik was there, and as well as some others. And also, like, obviously the crypto community has been a great supporter of AI alignment. In fact, like some of the biggest funding has come from crypto community to the AI safety as a field, which has been great. And also, I do think that the crypto community basically has kind of like two interesting pieces of knowledge that like isn't like super common. One is kind of knowing about kind of agency and kind of related control problems. Like I think Vitalik many years ago, probably 2016 or something like that, wrote this, that there's like this symmetry between blockchain or crypto people developing smart contracts. So making sure that like these smart contracts that are very dumb can control kind of like smart humans by basically making sure that they're secure and kind of do what they want in the face of like adversarial situations from smarter systems. And then like AI safety community wants to kind of control systems that are smarter than humans from the perspective of humans that are dumber compared to potentially dumber than AI. So that there's like some interesting symmetry there. So like, yeah, blockchain people know about kind of adversarial pressures, agentic pressures. And the other thing is just kind of like general experience with kind of like global infrastructure, digital infrastructure that like I'm currently just listening to this podcast by Tarkesh Patel, who is doing podcast with my longtime friend Carl Schumann, who I think is like one of the foremost mind when it comes to kind of AI strategy. And he basically laments this fact that our digital infrastructure, our digital security is like very, very weak compared to our physical security. So, and like AIs currently are being trained on consumer OSs, variants of Linux, on insecure. So they're insecure and they're connected to the internet and they are running on insecure hardware. And we are giving it all the knowledge about how data centers work, how operating systems work, how programming works. I mean, I used myself ChatGPT at one point to help me to configure my own firewall. So like, and then we like leave them alone for months. So it's like, I think it's kind of like important for people to in crypto community kind of perhaps like sit back and pause and think about like, wait a minute, is there something we can do in addition to the things that people have already contributed.
Right. I've talked to some of the blockchain folks back in Zuzalu, and one very adjacent dystopian scenario would be what if there's this like evil AI agent live on chain would completely use the financialization attribute of blockchain to distort people's motivation and to enslave people in a sense, using blockchain tokens to incentivize people to do evil things. So like instead of being attacked by nanobots, making everyone a paperclip, maybe first we would be somehow enslaved by AI live on chain.
Yeah, I mean, again, like I'm listening to this like wonderful podcast currently by Carl Schumann talking to Tarkesh Patel. And he basically kind of draws like one distinction there that like AI, in order to take over the planet and the rest of the universe, will need a bunch of infrastructure. So now and it's like an open question: will this infrastructure be something that it will start developing as quickly as possible itself, in the form of like nanotechnology and bio or whatnot, or will it somehow kind of subvert human infrastructure generating capabilities? So like humans unknowingly initially, and then just like becoming incentivized to develop this infrastructure that AI will need to take over.
Exactly.
Take over. And like that, there are arguments for both. It's not obvious. Like that the reason why it will want to tap into human capabilities is because they're there, right? You can kind of manipulate humans or incentivize humans to develop the things that it will need. The reason for it to start developing its own infrastructure as soon as possible is that, well, humans are dumb and humans really important there. We are really, really, really slow. So like AI could potentially run 1,000,000 or 1,000,000,000 times faster than humans. So humans are like trees, waiting human infrastructure to complete is like waiting for trees, waiting for like trees or even like kind of mountains to erode. Whereas like if you want to like develop your own technology while being like million times faster, you probably would not want to rely on humans. So it's like it's not obvious like which way it will go. But yes, like one thing to kind of think about is like how can we make our infrastructure and society less manipulable by AI.
I see. Wow. I think what you just described, I think resonates with what we talked back in Zuzalo, but also pull us back to the reality, not only science fictional, but also super realistic. Thank you so much, Yang Tallinn. It's really, really nice to catch up with you in the way that you're communicating your thoughts with a lot of Chinese audience in East Shanghai. Such an honor. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
Okay, I'll hand over the mic to Wei, and I hope you guys are having amazing East Shanghai dinner right now. And hopefully my face on the screen is not so scary, and hopefully you guys are not losing your appetite.